I look forward to it. Honestly, this was a really hard series to call. The predictions were definitely hard on us, and we have our initial PVZ getting ready first. Our first matchup, our first map is going to be Dynasty. Dynasty up first here for Goblin and Wayne. And it looks like this may have been played via replays, as we don't have access to any cameras from either player. Just diving on it. And in the top right hand corner, we have a Goblin for Platinum R8. And in the bottom left, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Let's go. Let us go. Once again, the starting map is predetermined. So Dynasty is a map that we very rarely get to see, but I love that we have to embrace it, that we get to see this map a little bit more often. And Wayne is going for the goal base, but on the other side of the wall. And Goblin confirms. It has become much more common to go for this build specifically. This is a very aggressive, and it leads into an all-in from the side of Zerg. The way this works is that you take the gold on the other side. The reason for this is because if you take the gold on the left-hand side, then your mineral line is vulnerable. You're vulnerable to a depth harass, a stalker harass, to any ranged unit can just abuse that location. So instead, you expand on the other side. It doesn't just guarantee that your mineral line is safer, but it also means that you can gain access and take advantage of the gold. Of the high yield gas, as well as the gold base, of course. Gold, minerals, and high yield gas is available there, and with that high yield gas, it leads into a fast roach run, into an all-in, typically. Now the pressure is on Goblin, the onus is on the Protoss to punish this, to punish it, to shut it down before it really gets going. And we'll see if he can. We'll see what Goblin has to offer, as Wayne has kind of thrown down the gauntlet. Is a Maynarding over. Meanwhile, across the map, Goblin does take his own gold, as to be expected. As a reminder, it's a little bit more difficult for the Zerg player to punish that gold base. I say a little bit more difficult. We should be headed towards roach production, and roaches and ravagers can punish the gold. They can deny mining. That is true. Once we get there. We are settling in. Meanwhile, interesting. Goblin is going to be opening up Stalker. Okay, so he's going to be a little bit lighter when it comes to depths early on. To have a Stalker coming out. The Stalker will deny vision, and we're going for a Twilight Council. Here we go. It's going to be a Twilight Council opener. This could be for Glaive Adepts or Dark Templar, one or the other. Both are viable here. We'll keep an eye on the gas mining, on the follow-up tech as well, as we have not quite seen the gas for Goblin, not yet. Robo has been thrown down, and this could be the beginning of 4-gate Glaive Adepts. This could be for a Dark Shrine into DT Harass, into an Archon drop, but there it is, we have our answer. We have Glaives. Glaives are on the way. We have pulled out a gas, so it's going to be actually interesting. We've pulled out, but also a little bit in. Looks like 4-gate Glaive Adepts here from Goblin is designed to harass and to expand, get into a third base, and get into immortal production behind it. As we have 4 workers mining gas in the main. And we'll see if Wayne can keep up. Interesting. Wayne is going for +1 melee. Very fast +1 melee. This looks like Ling Bane, actually. Doesn't look like Roach Ravager. As we're staying very light here on gas income. But with this, we can rush into Mass Ling, throw down the Bailey Nest, and try to bust our opponent. Have seen this in the past. There's that Bailey Nest that we spoke about. It is now on the way. So it is going to be a Bane bust. So Wayne massing up Ling Bane. On the flip side, though, we do have our Protoss player embracing Mass Glaive Adept. Already starting Immortal production as well. Very interesting. Okay. Are we waiting for the Immortal? Okay. Never mind. We cancel the Immortal and start it back up again. Okay. Going into a bay? I'm being thrown for a loop a little bit here. So we're going to have less Warpins available for Goblin because we're investing into Immortal and a Bay into Disruptor production, or Colossus. I'm imagining Disruptors. Very interesting adaptation. Very interesting. As the goblin has arrived, does threaten a shade, reveals his army, reveals his hand. And Banelings are not quite ready yet. 5 Banelings on the way. Plus on melee still not kicking in. But Wayne initially has to be the defender. Has to keep up with these adepts. Does fend out some lings, is moving out for a counterattack. At the same time getting ready back at home. Looking to surround! He does dive in and the Banelings, they will somewhat connect. The adepts, they do shade away. At the same time, lings, they get across the map, they're going for the third. Plus on melee, kicking in a couple of seconds too late. And we barely don't get the adepts. That was a pretty big loss here for Wayne. And Colossus are on the way. At the same time, adepts, they threaten the gold. 2, 3 drones already going down. Rough reaction there from Wayne. At the same time, he does get across them. He gets the Immortal. Massive pickup. The Immortal is surrounded. The Immortal does go down. That does help make up for his 7 dead workers. That's still a lot of drone damage, though. So much damage. And 9 drones go down. Soon to be 10. At the same time, Wayne busts into the mineral line. Likewise, getting economic damage done. We got 4 probe kills. Colossus has arrived. Can we knock the Colossus down? Now, there is going to be an overcharge at the natural. There's a shield battery and an overcharge. Likewise, the Colossus can slip away and get up onto the high ground. The longer this goes on, the better it is for Goblin. Like, he has no good answer for the Colossus. There we go. Link Bane has arrived. Colossus reveals itself and Wayne has to back off. He throws down a Roach War, and this was never the initial plan. And Goblin takes a massive worker lead. He's on 51 workers compared to the 43 of his opponent. Probing up. Oh, there's potential with the Baneling run by. Nice. And we respond with the Spire. Spire is on the way for Wayne. Very risky, but we have to take a risk at this stage. We do have to take a risk here. This Goblin does shut down the Overlord, settling into 3 bases. Diversifying in splash damage to go Colossus, soon to be Archon, soon to be Storm. Blink is on the way as well, which will help against those. Oh! Which will help against the Mutas. Wayne, a little bit premature with those Banelings, unfortunately. The minerals had yet to open up. Now, the scary thing here is that Goblin, because he isn't being active, he's not harassing with Oracles, because, of course, no Stargates, and he's not really being active with the Depths. Doesn't get eyes on the tech. He's unaware as to what's going on. There we go, 6 Mutas on the way. But Goblin is pretty well fortified. We have Stalkers at the gold, we have the army at the third. It's not easy making our way into the main. In regards to those Mutas. We'll see if Wayne can pull it off. At the same time, we collapse on the Adepts. The Adepts didn't do much. They don't get much damage done. We did invest into, what was it, 6 Mutas? 6 to 8 Mutas. But we have Stalkers in position. We get eyes on this, we shut this back, or we force this back. And Goblin he's throwing down shield batteries, cannons in every single mineral line. He's getting ready for the Mutas. This investment just hasn't really been worth it. Ay, ay, ay. They can at least shut down the Prism. The War Prism can be hunted down by the Mutas. So do rotate over towards the right-hand side. Meanwhile, Wayne building up his Lingbane Roach Ravager. Knocking down the rocks, looking for an ideal fight out on the map. And he does get into a mineral line. Gets 1 probe. That's something. 1 probe goes down. Goblins slowly expanding, taking a fourth. Just coming back in, and now we're getting damage done. 5, 6 probes going down. Not bad. We even get a 7th probe in the main. Ooh, for 1 meter. Still a worthwhile trade. At the same time, we can see Wayne getting ready to knock down the 4th. Is maxed out on Link Main Road Ravager. And depending on the positioning, we could try to lock down the Colossus. But Goblin being very careful. A station in between his 4th and the 3rd. Ready to pull away. Wayne is going to be collapsing in. He could try to go for just the base. Bailey's are rolling forward, and the Ling Road Ravager. Yeah, they dive on the Nexus. Bailing's buying time. No, we're going for the main army. Yeah, Archons are going down, but the Colossus, they just stutter step back. And we hold. The Nexus is getting low, and it looks like we get the snipe. Nexus goes down. No shot. No shot! Oh, we needed one more shot, and alas, we don't get it. The Nexus lives. How? Aye. One more shot is all we needed. Barely. Goblin does keep it alive. Wayne backing up. Is rebuilding. He did at least get 17 probes, which was good, but now he's vulnerable to a counterattack. Goblin does have a recall. Pushing quite deep onto creep. Getting surrounded. And the Link Roach collapsing on the army, going for the Colossus. Big overextension here by Goblin. He does overextend. Can we get a second Colossus? We can! We get 2! Really, we shut down the Colossus at the same time. Goblin harassing on the right-hand side, or towards the south. Wayne does react in time. He's going to shut this down. Again, Goblin just pushing too far into creep. And it looks like he may have lost all 3 Colossus there. That's brutal. And what do we have left? We have 1 Immortal, a handful of Archons. Wayne with the Remax, looking to knock down that center base once again. Or actually this time. And Bailey's roll in, going for the main army, focus down the Archons. And even if we can't get the army, this time we can snipe the Nexus. As we focus on every single Archon, the High Templar as well. The 1 Immortal is barely saved. Okay, the overcharge is popped. And Wayne, he can just stutter step back, and this time he can get the base. There we go, it finally goes down. And Wayne is snowballing out of control. He gets his round on the Immortal. Finally, it does fall as well. And Goblin has almost nothing left. Blink Stalkers, a desperation warping of Zealots. Even if he holds here, Wayne, he can rebuild, remax once again. GG gets called, and Wayne will take game number 1. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Wayne does take the first game. It was pretty back and forth, and there were good moments for both players. Again, we had a miracle defense from Goblin initially, where he was able to hold on to the 4th base. The base survived. He retained all of his Colossus, did trigger a counterattack. I wasn't opposed to the counterattack, but we did push right through the center of the map, right? We pushed in between the northern base and the center bases, deep onto creep, and we were prone to being surrounded. You could definitely argue that Goblin could have taken a safer approach by rotating towards the edge of the map instead, just to have a safer kind of path to escape, and I took a risk. He got punished for it. GG. Now we're getting into game 2. In the bottom right, we have Goblin for Platinum R8. And in the top left, we have Wayne for Starlight Twinkle. Let's go. We're jumping into game number 2. And I feel like what's important here, especially after game 1, is that it wasn't necessarily one-sided. Like Wayne, he didn't get an amazing amount of damage done with his mutas, and likewise, like his Ling Bane Road Ravager initially was having a hard time getting damage done as well. Goblin was able to quite nicely transition out of Glaive Adepts into the Colossus. It was a very interesting build, something we don't see too often from Protoss players. Specifically the kind of earlier Immortal and earlier Bay that Goblin went for. And initially it was working quite well. So I want to believe we can fight back. I want to believe we can bounce back here. As for now, Standard Opener, Hatch Gas Pull out of Wayne, likewise Gate Expand out of Goblin. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Standard openers for the time being. And this time there's no gold base to take advantage of, there's no high yield gas either. We're calming down. See some people talking about like Hero Marine and team leagues. I mean, I don't think Hero Marine ever had a team to compete in a team league. Like, you just... I guess back in the day, like early on, Mal's Esports, they had maybe a larger roster, but yeah, like Gabe never really had much of an opportunity. So I do think it's really cool that he's going to be joining Offside and competing for the first time in team leagues. Like, it isn't just Gabe, like ShaDoWn is another example of a player that like never really competed in team leagues. So it's really cool that players like ShaDoWn and like Gabe have the opportunity to compete now and have the opportunity to join. I think a big reason for it as well is just because I feel like WTL has cemented itself more and more over the years. I feel like early on, not as many people really paid too much attention to it, but nowadays, over the past 2 years, it's gotten a lot more coverage, a lot more eyes on WTL, and yeah, I feel like it's gotten a lot more respect from the community. Just because of the caliber of players that are competing in it. I think a big part of it is, you know, thanks to teams like Basilisk joining, right? Like adding players like Raynor and Serral to the roster of like competitors. Not just the big Koreans. So there has been a lot more interest in WTL, which is always a good thing. As a Goblin opening up Stargate, going for the Void Ray, not for the Oracle. Okay, you have my attention. You do have my attention. It's going to be the Void Ray opener instead. With this, the goal is to shut down the Overlords to keep the follow-up hidden. It could be a standard game, or it could be something crazy like Sky Toss. Goblin, you know, he was always a Roddy boy. He was his firstborn, if you will, as far as we know. So we could embrace the Sky Toss. Could embrace it. For now, we're expanding, taking the third. And we'll keep an eye on the follow-up tech, as the goal of the Void Ray is to hunt down as many Overlords as possible. Gotten one so far, and we're going for another. Do get a second Overlord. Oracle's moving out. Gonna be threatening the natural. So far, Wayne is keeping up. And does have a queen and a spore in position. Meanwhile, we can see Goblin going for his transition. It's going to be a Twilight Council and a Forge for +1, and I imagine Blink. We could work towards Charge, but Goblin does come off as more of a Blink boy. Keep an eye on him. Likewise, Safety Roach Warren out of Wayne. That was a 4-minute 30 Roach Warren timing from the Zerg player. So in case it was an aggressive follow-up, he's going to be ready for it. Again, typically against a Stargate opener, you don't want to throw down the Roach Warren until around the 5-minute mark, but this was earlier just because the Void Ray starts, because it could be Glaive Adepts as a follow-up. So Wayne playing very safely, very carefully. Does respect it. Likewise, the Void Ray does force a cancel. Cancel the hatchery. Oracles, they dive on top of the queens. One queen goes down. Adepts, they do shade away. In the end, pretty worth it here. Goblin, he canceled the 4th. He killed a queen. Not too bad. Shaved off a lot of lings. Back at home, there's that Blink on the way. Once again, Goblin coming back in, hitting that 4th base. And there's the Sky Toss. Okay, not quite the way that I thought we would get here. I thought we were going to be seeing the Stargate after the Void Ray. The second Stargate, I mean. But we're going for a more safe variation. +1 and Blink first, then into the Fleet Beacon and the second Stargate. Somewhere out there, Rotterdam, he's smiling. He's doesn't know why, but he is. So Goblin doing what he does best, rushing into Sky Toss. There's +1 air attack on the way. Meanwhile, we do see Wayne threw down the Hydra Den and is building up towards Roach Hydra. Wayne has yet to scout Goblin. Has yet to confirm. Now, there is going to be a window. There's going to be a timing where if Wayne cuts workers, and he has cut... Okay, I was going to say he has cut workers at 3-base saturation, but now Wayne is droning. If Wayne does decide to max out first on Hydra and push, then he could honestly kill Wayne. Something that Wayne is lacking is splash damage. Sorry, could kill Goblin is what I meant to say. Something that Goblin is missing is splash damage, right? Like, there's no Storm, there's no Colossus, there's no Disruptors. It's only Blink Stalker straight into Carrier. So he is vulnerable to Hydra. Is vulnerable to Mass Hydra. As time goes on, though, we can see Goblin now throw down Templar Archives. Charge has started up. He's working towards Storm. The window is closing. Stalkers are spotted. Wayne fighting back. Cutting workers at 70, and Wayne, he is producing nothing but Links and Hydras behind this. He's moving out. He does put the upgrades. Yeah, he confirms +1 air attack. He's aware of the Sky Toss. So a big moment here for Wayne. Is aware of what's going on. There's a wall of shield batteries and cannons on the way at the 3rd, but we're going for the 4th. Yeah, Wayne going for the 4th base instead. As I say that, the carriers, they have arrived. And with these carriers, Wayne has to back off. He doesn't have Hydra speed. The Hydras, they have to fight. They have to turn back around. And they're getting within range of one of these carriers, and they're going to get it. Yeah, one carrier falls. Massive pickoff. Roach is pushing forward. Overcharge is popped. Again, that wall of static defense is insane. There's no breaking through that. And Goblin, he saves the 4th base. It cost him a carrier. True. But he saves the 4th. Nice kiting here at a Goblin. Wayne still just rallying across the map. He doesn't want to back off. Doesn't want to give up. Once again, forced to rotate. Catches a Void Ray. Nice pickoff. And that one carrier is about to turn into 3. There's 2 more about to spawn in. About to warp in. Meanwhile, still no splash damage. Archon's on the way. We do outposition the army, going for the Cyber Core. Going for the Atosis Pylon even. Pylon goes down. Carrier has arrived. We have many more Hydras this time. Trying to dive on top of the army. There is a stasis trap. The stasis! Oh, does catch the Ravagers. A handful of Hydras as well. Now Wayne has to back off. Lings, they bust into the main base. Probes are going down. But Goblin is still barely holding on. No saturation at the natural, though. The probes main nothing back over. Wayne, he rotates. Hits the 4th. The 4th is looking a lot more exposed. So we can focus it down. Yeah, Bar's going to be connecting, and the Nexus should fall. We ignore the base. We're going for the army. Once again, the carrier. The carrier overextends for the 2nd time. Yeah, the carrier goes down. Static defense as well. And it looks like Wayne, he has enough. He's looking to break through. There's just not enough on the ground. Not anymore. I say that. We're running out of Lings. We're running out of Lings, which means these Hydras are exposed. We can blink on forward. Can try to punish this. Wayne being forced back. It's still so close. As we do bleed out Hydras, 4 Stalkers. Expensive losses here for Wayne. He's bleeding out too much. And Wayne, he didn't kill the 4th. Like, he had 2 opportunities and he didn't go for it. Wayne, he went for the kill instead. He failed to do so. The 4th base survives. Goblin, he retains the mining at the 3rd. Now he's on 3 carriers. He's pushing out. Wayne needs time to recover. Ling's going for a counterattack. They should be getting a kill on the Nexus, but Goblin, there's just something about Goblin in his 4th bases. He just somehow saves them time and time again. Even in the last game. Does survive. Static defense is being rebuilt. Storm is on the way. It's going to be a big moment for Goblin to finally have some splash damage against the Hydra. Wayne is on a timer. Storm is going to be a massive power spike for Goblin. Even if Wayne maxes out. He's about to. Now, Storm is still just under halfway done. We need more time. Do need more time. Wayne going for a split push. Going for the Nexus at the same time, pushing in towards the natural. And getting into these Stalkers. Again, Storm still on the horizon. Hydras being forced back. We bleed off a peel of some Hydras towards the natural. The Nexus goes down. Finally, we get the Nexus. Oh, it's going to cost us a lot of Hydras, though. Yeah, Wayne bleeding out a lot of units. Now we get the Infestation Pits, Lurker Den. Wayne is taking up, and he's droning. So Wayne is getting ready for a longer game. But I kind of want to give the edge to Goblin here. I mean, it's hard to say. Just because the carrier count, we're hitting critical mass. We have 5, soon to be 7 carriers here for Goblin. Plus Storm. Like, this is a pretty impressive army for the Protoss. And Ling Hydra doesn't scale amazingly into a later game. It does look a little bit less threatening than it once was. So Wayne needs time here to recover and to refine his army, get into Lurkers, get into Vipers. Hydra Lurker Viper can be okay against Skytoss. It's not amazing, but it can hold its own. The ideal, of course, is Corruptors, but we're not quite there yet. So we are still building up. Likewise, Goblin retaking his 4th. Wayne getting up to 80+ workers. Wayne's still not at the ideal. And for the time being, Wayne is stuck with Lair Tech Lurkers. Because the Hive is still not quite done. Void Ranger Turtle Carriers, what is this Gold League strat? The Korean Protosses do it too, what do you mean? Classic goes Void Ranger Tempest though. Classic and Hero. They more commonly go into Tempest first, then into Carrier. Off of a Void Ray opener. Classic was even doing this in GSL last year. It was the last season of 2023. Classic was doing this on Alkyone. As for now, both players are just back off. After all the aggression, after all the intensity that we just had, both players are backing off. Wayne is maxing out. Now we have the Spire on the way after he's maxed, so he's feeling a little bit more secure. Spire is going to be for the Greater Spire, for eventually Broodlord Corruptor. Likewise, Wayne with plenty of energy, plenty of Storm, is moving out. And with this move out, we have a lot of potential. We're still really reliant on Hydras. Like, that's a lot of Hydras. That's a lot of would-be dead Zerg, is what I see. It's like, I can already see the storms, Poppy. Here come the Vipers, though. We're looking for the yoinks, looking for the abductions. Wayne can pick this army apart. With some good Viper control. Rotating around. Looking for a way in. Yoinks the Oracles. Not bad. I believe we are relying on the Oracles for their revelations. Storm grazing the army. Lightning Cloud thrown down. And now Tempests are on the way. We spoke about them earlier. Tempests are a solid backbone to the Skytoss army. We're in for a long one. I can. it's happening. Second Spire on the way for Wayne to get into 1/1 upgrades. Wayne's hatchery is denied, but he does wall up. He has a field of spore crawlers. And Goblin has to be very slow, very methodical, has to be very careful with how he moves out. I would love to see a mothership. That's the big thing that we're missing here for the Protoss. A mothership does give us a second recall, so we can be that much more active on the map. Speaking of recall, we have to recall back home. As Goblin is out of position. Ah, we did have the mothership. Never mind. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the mothership recall, actually. So we do have a base recall available, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, more than anything, the power of the mothership is its ability to recall like back and forth between opposite ends of the map. So Goblin rotates, pushes forward. For now, just clearing up creep as much as we can. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. We do get a kill on the base. Not bad. I mean, we have a bank to work with, but nice damage nonetheless. Goblin is pulling back, building up more Tempest, throwing down a wall of cannons and shield batteries, securing his bases. And there's no rush for Goblin, right? Like, there's no need to like dive onto a base or anything like that. We just have map control, denying these fringe hatcheries. That's all we need. Like, Goblin has the more efficient army. Has to make use of it. Getting one spore at a time, one lurker at a time. Does add up. Another revelation. Wayne setting up for a pseudo surround. Gets caught out. Oh, that's gonna be a lot of lurkers. Yeah, 2 to 3 lurkers go down. Oh, 4 lurkers even. And denial on the base. At the same time, you can see Wayne counterattacking, but I believe we have a recall available. We'll see if we even need it. Yeah, there's the recall. And I love that we leave the mothership behind. So that's the base recall, and we still have the mothership recall available. Yeah, it's off cooldown. So now Goblin, he has the opportunity to just bounce onto the other side of the map and try to pull Wayne apart. Oh, already recalling? I'm not sure if I like that, but okay. We go for the recall. The army is already in position is the problem. We deny the base. Like, Wayne didn't rotate. He was already here. Do we catch a queen? Both recalls are on cooldown, and that means that Wayne can just counterattack. Oof. Yeah, we're going to be trading a base for a base here. Corruptors dive in. They yoink one of the carriers. One carrier goes down. Decent storm. Yeah, Goblin is committing. And he's just making a way through all these lurkers. The lurkers, they go down one after the other. Every lurker falls. And Wayne is being bullied back. Yeah, Wayne, he sent so much of his supply across the map. These Hydras, they were across the map instead. We needed them back at home. Wayne was threatening a counterattack. Goblin takes a fight. Ooh, and these Corruptors have a hard time pushing in. They get one carrier. They're going for others. Where are the Archons? No more Archons. No more anti-air. We should be able to clean up the carriers. It's going to be close. Going for the Tempest. The one Archon on the ground. Doing what it can. There's 3 carriers left. They live. They survive. GG gets called. Goblin, he takes the fight. He overwhelms the Corruptors. And Goblin takes game 2. GG. GG, well played. Again, it was a close fight. It was so unfortunate. Basically, what had happened at the end of that fight, or towards the end of the game, when Goblin was pushing towards that northern base, Wayne went for a counterattack on the rise, and game 1 is on Amphion. I can't quite tell. We're jumping in. We're jumping in. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have ShaDoWn for Platinum R8. And in the bottom left, we have Krystianer for Starlight Twinkle. It is a stairwell. Okay. As we are settling into our game, loading into Amphion. Interesting pylon locations. Now, what I was about to say is that Amphion is one of those few maps that has a ramp leading into the natural, so this could be a gate expand opener from both players. But with a pylon on top of the ramp, this is leaning more towards a 2-gate opener instead. We'll see if either one does skip the second gateway and go for a faster expansion. Meanwhile, predictions are open. If you're in the chat, predictions are open for this PvP. Best of luck. Best of luck. You have a minute or so to place your bets. Interesting. A single gas opener. So ShaDoWn, it looks like he's going for the faster expansion. Oh, no, never mind. Goes for the second. He goes for the gas geyser. Okay, 2-gate opener. 2-gate opener out of ShaDoWn. 2-gate opener out of Krystianer. Standard build so far. No one is being too greedy yet. So we get eyes on our initial units of choice. Cyber cores are on the way. And both players are just making sure that the second pylon isn't misplaced, isn't thrown out on the map somewhere. Just ensuring that everything is as it should be. So both ShaDoWn and Krystianer, they confirm the pylons. And they confirm that there is no proxy. As you can see, ShaDoWn just double checking. Does double check. Do we think that Cham can take a map of Kelazhur? 100%. He's done it before, he can do it again. I do favor Kelazhur. If you've been watching Cham in WTL, Cham is hyper aggressive. So I would not be surprised if Cham goes for a roach all-in, either in game 1 or game 2, and it's on Kelazhur to survive. Whether he can or not, we'll see. I was very close to predicting 1-1 for Kelazhur and Cham. I think I landed on 2-0 for Kelazhur, but I had a really hard time deciding. Cham 2-0. Oh, he's crazy, fam. He's crazy. Let's go. What did Yaku predict? Let's have a look. WTL predictions. Yaku's a big Diego fan. Let's see. Yaku, he went 1-1. He went 1-1 for Kelazhur and Cham. What did I go for? I went 2-0 Kelazhur. Yeah. We'll get into that later. For now, we have our tech of choice. It's going to be a Stargate opener out of ShaDoWn. Meanwhile, Twilight Council from Krystianer. Adept does shade in. Oh, we have to waste a lot of energy here. The Adept is going to be shut down, but that was 2 force fields. That is that much less hallucinations for Krystianer. Not ideal. Not an ideal defense. Does shut it down at least. Meanwhile, Oracle's moving out towards the main. And because of those force fields, Krystianer, he might not be quite ready for this. Okay, we have 3 sentries and 2... we're ready. We're good. We have plenty in the main. We do defend at the same time. ShaDoWn going for the proxy Dark Shrine. Oh my god, okay. I saw the Twilight Council, but it's not for Blink, it's for Charge, and we have the DTs. The Dark Templar are on the horizon. Krystianer, for the time being, is in the dark. Does have sentries, has the potential for hallucinations. Has yet to embrace that. 1 probe goes down. Do manage to get 1 worker. Krystianer, no detection for the time being, either going for his... ShaDoWn setting up his own proxy location to harass and reinforce across the map, to warp in those Dark Templar. And this could just end the game. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Dark Shrine's almost done. Thankfully, we do have a robo on the way for Krystianer, so he has access to detection. He does have access to observers. But we could even focus on the pylon. It's going to be close. Will he see? Oh, we're not quite headed there. No, we don't check. We check the 3rd base location, but we don't check the top right. Yeah, we have no eyes on the proxy. DTs are warping in. The robo is about to finish. but damage is going to be done. And DTs are diving on into the mineral lines. We're not quite in position. Robo is done. And the DTs are split up between the main and the natural. No observer, no detection. Observer now is on the way to being credited as we speak. Ooh, we force field a little bit too late. It's a late force field. The DT's already inside. It doesn't wall off either. Chaos does ensue. Okay, we shut down the first DT, but that's 9 probe kills. And ShaDoWn takes a massive worker lead. The damage has been dealt. Now, thankfully, Krystianer has a faster third. So even though Krystianer is now behind in workers, pretty far behind, he can catch up. He can catch up with triple probe production. He can make up for that. As ShaDoWn is taking the triangular third as we speak. Halfway done. So Krystianer has to take a more defensive stance. Another Dark Templar. Just outside the third. It's just waiting for the moment that Krystianer moves out. And then the DT will move in. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn saturating his own third base, maintaining his economic lead. Moving out with his own army towards the left-hand side. Can see it on the minimap. And does blink over the wall. Uh-oh. Krystianer doesn't see this. He's out of position. He's out of position. We dive into the main base. Probes are going down. We force a recall. And that's go time for the DT. Getting even more economic damage done. And Krystianer, he just cannot keep up. As Sentry's falling. 15 probes as well. Krystianer just getting pulled apart. And ShaDoWn can even escape. It does blink away. ShaDoWn waddling on towards the bottom right, and Krystianer just one step behind. And now Krystianer, he's down almost 20 workers. Does have a fourth on the way, so that'll help, I guess. Yeah, but he has to counterattack. He has to get something done across the map. Knocking down the rock. ShaDoWn expanding towards his opponent. He's crazy. Taking the center base. We do get eyes on this, and we should force a cancel. Ooh, that was a kill. That was a kill, not a cancel. That was 400 minerals down the drain. Okay. Not a bad start for Krystianer. Not bad. That is our first step on the road to recovery. First step has been taken. We have charge on the way. +1 as well for Krystianer. ShaDoWn has a massive upgrade lead. He's got +2 already starting up. Prism towards the main. We have another Dark Templar at the 4th. No. The Invisible Man. It's too good. Someone stop this man. The DT is going to be shut down, but we get another one in the main. Or primed to go into the main. And ShaDoWn, he's going for the kill. At this point, he has a supply lead. He has an upgrade lead. Pushing forward. Krystianer is ahead when it comes to Stalkers, but the side defense isn't ready. Needs more time. And as he's distracted, DTs, they hit the main. The non-stop Dark Templar harass with Zealots. We go for a massive warp in. Same time, overcharges popped. Krystianer, he's holding the front line. He defends against the main army. Forces a recall. Likewise, forcing a recall out of his opponent. The Prism still does pose a threat. Still on the bottom left. Prism is still in position. Oh. Clean feed? Clean feed, stay with me. We're okay, we're okay. Krystianer does rotate over. Again, I believe he does still have the Stalker lead, but ShaDoWn's in position. Plenty of Zealots. Immortals down in the mix as well. In a head-to-head fight, ShaDoWn will take it. Krystianer has to avoid that fight for as long as he can. And more probes falling. Now with the 4 Nexus setup, Krystianer, he has caught back up in workers, which is impressive. Likewise, defending the main base, but Zealots are getting out of hand. Cannons are going down. More workers. Krystianer still holds the ramp. Getting a very narrow ramp. Despite being down in army, he can hold on. But these Zealots in the main base are being so annoying. The non-stop warp-ins. Meanwhile, ShaDoWn looking for another way in. Rotating over towards the 3rd. Prism finally gets sniped. Oh, the overcharge is popped. Not really adding too much to the fight though. You snipe an Archon. Archon goes down again. What I'm most impressed by is that Krystianer, he's lost so many probes this game. I want to say like 30 probes, maybe even over 30 workers, and he's still holding his own. He's holding on, Pat. Stalker's getting focused on Archons as well. The Immortals are doing quite a bit in the back line. For ShaDoWn, but still being overwhelmed. We can focus on the Immortals. We get up. Barely not one. Okay, they're getting so low, so exposed. 2 Immortals go down. The 3rd Immortal as well. Massive pickoffs. Krystianer sniping every high-tech unit. Despite being down in upgrades. And now we catch up. Krystianer, he just finished +2. Now he's on even upgrades with ShaDoWn. He's on even upgrades. And even has a worker lead. He's crazy. He's up on workers. He's taking his 5th. And Krystianer, he is coming back. He is coming back into this, despite how dire things were looking. Once again, though, ShaDoWn, positions Krystianer. Dives into the natural. Krystianer, 1 step behind. That's been the name of this game here. The entire game. Just Krystianer just having a hard time keeping map vision and map control. Does engage with the main army. Takes a better fight. Will bleed out 6 probes, but he takes out every Zealot and quite an amount of Stalkers here. Not bad. Krystianer did lose 6 probes in a robo, but when it comes to the head-to-head fights, Krystianer did look a little bit better, as it looks. We do jump back in. Okay, so a couple of things. The robo was sniped, so we have no robo production here from Krystianer. Does engage with the main army. ShaDoWn now once again has the upgrade lead. He has +3 for a couple of seconds. Krystianer is about to catch up. DT does spot the main army. ShaDoWn keeping up with the rotations. ShaDoWn is in position. And +3 finishing up in 10 seconds for Krystianer. Again, despite being so far behind earlier, he's catching up in those upgrades. He's maxed out. DTs will hit bottom right. They force a big reaction. Main army's going to be clashing. And what can Krystianer do? He recalls. He recalls towards the bottom right. That does create an opening. That means ShaDoWn can go straight for the 3rd base or even straight into the natural. Where do we go? Poking in. Sniping the cannon. Intentionally so. I believe there's no detection at the 3rd base now. So cannon will have to be rebuilt. Both armies are maxed out. Krystianer looking for a dive. Jesus, so many Zealots. Now, what I'm concerned about is I do think Krystianer has the better army. Without any Archons, like, the mass Zealot force of Krystianer can snowball out of control. So I'm quite concerned with the lack of Immortals here. Archons, sorry. For both players. It's just mass gateway. Mass gateway for ShaDoWn, mass gateway for Krystianer. There's no finesse here. brute forcing our way through, and Krystianer does dive on top of the Stalkers. Yeah, initially a better engage for Krystianer. Does focus on the Stalkers at the same time. 23 probes going down. We have DTs in every other base. Yeah, massive damage being done. Krystianer being pulled back. He does plummet in supply, but a lot of that was the economy, was the worker supply. When it comes to the main army, it's still pretty comparable. Jeez, that's 27 probes. Ay, ay, ay. ShaDoWn pushing out. And do we go for a base trade? Okay. ShaDoWn pulls back as well. Doesn't commit. Pulls back, getting caught out. We snipe 3 Stalkers. Krystianer up in army supply. Bleeding out more probes. Pushing right down mid. And does have to be careful not to be surrounded. Yeah, DTs from one end. Zealots as well from the other. We do have detection. No, now, oh god. Now is not the time. Who is it? No. We have some latency going on. Right in the middle of the fight, and some lag outs like that. But here we go, we're jumping in. The armies do clash. We do have detection available here for Krystianer. DT's putting in a lot of damage. But Krystianer looks like he has the better concave. He is looking to overwhelm the army. It's still so close. Reinforcements are on the way. Again, ShaDoWn does have the defender's advantage, and with these zealots, he can force it back Krystianer. Army supply is still very close. But Krystianer's all in. Like, Krystianer, he has 38 probes. In a longer game, he's going to be outscaled. ShaDoWn can remax. Krystianer cannot. Krystianer cannot remax. Not anymore. Does dive over the army, over the wall. Going for the base. Forcing ShaDoWn to respond. Krystianer blinking back. Oh, the observers! The observers get left behind. That is dangerous. There are still DTs out there for ShaDoWn. Still Dark Templar. Krystianer this time blindly going over the wall. We'll get in. ShaDoWn doesn't care. ShaDoWn, he doesn't care. He's going across the map. Again, does have a massive army, does have an overwhelming army here compared to Krystianer. At the same time, Krystianer with the defensive advantage does take a bit of fight. Takes down the Zealots. DTs, they come back in once again. GG gets called. It's just too much to handle, and ShaDoWn will take game number 1. GG. GG, well played. They get a very tense game, but ShaDoWn just able to flex his multitasking there with the mass DT Krystianer. It was the first time tonight, but we're jumping on it. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have ShaDoWn for Platinum R8. And in the top left, we have Krystianer for Starlight Twinkle. Let's go. Alright, jumping in. And that last game was pretty back and forth, but it did come down to the DT harass. Like, the non-stop Dark Templar were just pulling Krystianer apart left and right. Just an insane amount of economic damage, and eventually did force him all in. Krystianer can be a fast player himself, but in that last game just had a hard time keeping up. We'll see if we can time things up here in game 2. I want to believe we can bounce back and make a series out of this. We shall see. But now, 2-gate opener. You have a 2-gate opener from both Krystianer and ShaDoWn. No one is going for any kind of greedy build into a gate expand or anything like that. Not on Oceanborn. No one is taking that kind of risk. Not yet. Pylons are revealed. So ShaDoWn does confirm that there is no proxy. Likewise, Krystianer is about to do the same. does go in and does confirm. Does get eyes on the second pylon. Fully aware that everything's on the up and up, and we have our initial opener. Okay, it's going to be double Adept out of Krystianer and double Stalker from ShaDoWn. Interesting. Now with this, the goal for Krystianer is to bypass the Stalkers and to get into a mineral line to get some economic damage done early on. I'm curious if Krystianer is going to double down and go from double Adept into a 3rd and 4th and even a 5th and 6th Adept. We could commit that hard. We'll see. And we have confirmation. We have 2 more Adepts on the way. So Krystianer, he's doubling down. The reasoning for this is once you hit around 6 Adepts, you can actually break through static defense. Essentially, when you threaten a shade into the main base, it's on the opposing player to wall off with a shield battery, right? When they wall off with a shield battery, maybe a pylon at times. But once your Adept count gets high enough, you can actually DPS down that wall, that shield battery, and break in and get into a mineral line. Get economic damage done. There is potential. As you can see on the production tab, there is the 5th and 6th Adept on the way. Oh, we didn't even need it. We shade in it regardless. Oh my god. ShaDoWn does miss the wall. We get 2, 3 probe kills, and we're going to get a 4th. Ooh, bit of a mistargeting though. It looks like only 3 probes. There's a bit of a give and take. On the one hand, we got some damage done, sure, but oh my god, we're doubling that. We're going for an all-in. ShaDoWn. Calm down. My apologies, but there's no expansion. We have a proxy pylon across the map. We have an additional gateway back at home. Yeah, we have a 3-gate setup for ShaDoWn. And we're moving out. Meanwhile, back at home, Krystianer, 2 shield batteries. Not just 1, second shield battery as well. He understands how much danger he's in. Krystianer does spot the reinforcements. Next is about to finish up. Once it does, we're going to have an overcharge. But ShaDoWn has an overwhelming Stalker army. Looking to break through that first sentry. We do bleed out a Stalker. Stalker does fall. Krystianer keeping reinforcements busy back at home. Adepts are being cleaned up. And now ShaDoWn, he can rally everything across the map. Meanwhile, Krystianer, he's got a Robo. He's got an Immortal on the way. When the Immortal pops out, Krystianer, he can hold. Till then, though, he is vulnerable. He is vulnerable. As ShaDoWn continues to warp in across the map. It's all or nothing here for ShaDoWn. But has it taken too long? Are we too late? Oh, that is a lot of Stalkers. And we dive in. We focus out the sentries one after the other. We get a sentry, we get a Stalker. We are bleeding out a good amount of Stalkers, though. Very nice target firing by Krystianer. Very nice. Yeah, GG gets called. The all-in fails. And Krystianer, he holds, he survives, and he ties up the series 1-1. GG. GG, well played again. It took a little bit too long to get the all-in going, to break the natural. Likewise, we weren't able to focus on the Immortal. We were shut down by the force fields. We got locked down. We bled out too many Stalkers. And unfortunately, ShaDoWn, he ran out of steam. GG, well played. It comes down to the Latin American lineup. Oh, so thoughtful. And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the final best of 2 of this best of 7 Team League match. We are jumping into the tail end of Platinum R8 versus Starlight Twinkle. Again, it's been quite back and forth. We're tied up 2-2, and it all comes down to this. If we get another tied up 1-1 score, it goes all the way to the ace match. If it's a 2-0 in either direction, then the series will end, and it'll go the way of that winning player. So the pressure is on. Kelazhur versus Cham, Terran versus Zerg. TVZ, Latino America versus Latino America, baby. Oh, it's beautiful. It's insane. It's been quite some time since we've seen these two face off. I'm actually curious as of some of those stats, but regardless, we're jumping into game 1 and spawning in the bottom right hand corner for Platinum R8, we have Kelazhur. And in the top left for Starlight Twinkle, Cham, El Chamaco himself. Rocking that massive speaker behind him. It's always there, supporting him. His biggest fan. It's beautiful. But here we go. Have our TVZ, and I was mentioning earlier how aggressive Cham is as a player, and he is. At the same time, so is Kelazhur. Kelazhur is not the most standard of players either. He's very much so in your face. We've seen that time and time again, so I'm curious whose aggression comes out on top. For now, Hatch Gas Pool. Standard opener out of Cham is going to be a Hatch Gas Pool opener. Likewise, Kelazhur looking to go for a Rax Expand himself. Nothing too crazy. There's no 2-Rax Reaper, there's no Proxy, there's no Pool First, there's no Gas First. Everything is looking standard for the time being. When it comes to aggression, there's Cham, he's yawning. That was a massive yawn out of Cham. What time is it in Mexico? What time? Let's see. Mexico time. Oh, almost 9 a.m. 9 a.m. That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Early in the morning, but not too early. It's okay. As we are settling in, we have Kelazhur going for his expand. Likewise, Cham setting up for his third. When it comes to the aggression that I was referring to, usually it's off of 2 to 3 waves play. We see Cham play quite often with fast roach play, fast roaches, sometimes even into swarm hosts against bio. Something very rare, but we always are quite fond of it. Likewise, Kelazhur very aggressive with bio play, whether it's 8 Raxes, whether it's 2-on-1s. Just very in your face. Very bio heavy. We'll see if that rings true here in this series. Reaper's moving out to get some scouting information, getting a read on what Cham is up to. Cham does pull out of gas, so just getting enough for Link speed. Saturating the natural. Link's dancing with the Reaper, and the third hatchery is on the way. So far, standard build here from Cham. He's holding his own, hasn't lost too much. Ooh, doesn't bleed out the Ling. And will deflect that Reaper. Ay. Almost said Cham. Kelazhur, calm down. The stuttering with the Reaper. He's twitching, Poppy. He's tweaking. Behind this, 3rd CC before Starport, so economic follow-up out of Kelazhur. It's very economic play here into the 1-1-1. And it looks like Kelazhur is even going to be opening up Banshee, which I do think is a really solid way to open up here against Cham. Again, just because he's so fond of roaches, I feel like Banshee play can keep you safe, keep you sound. It does dive into the main. Gets a Ling. Not bad. Gets a Ling, gets out of there. Value here for Kelazhur. Hellions are building up. Are building up here. Rallying across, so going for the dive, we go for the mineral line. Bold move here by Kelazhur. He gets 1 drone so far. Again, it's only 2 Hellions, doesn't have too much DPS. He gets 2 workers. But likewise, Cham doesn't have much to defend. As the Hellions, they break into the main. Taking a lot of hits. Can we get 1 more volley? We barely do not. Whew, that was so close. 1 more volley and 3 drones would have fallen. So nice defense here out of Cham. I'm sure Kelazhur was hoping for a little bit more. Meanwhile, do you see what I see? That is not a Banshee. That is a Fusion Core. Uh-oh. Okay. So it's going to be 3cc 1-1-1 into BCs, not into Banshees. At the same time, Hellions, once again, they dive into the mineral line. No links to defend. We get 2 more drones and back the hell off. Kelazhur overextending a little bit there, bleeding out a lot of Hellions. Once again, diving in. Kelazhur, no fear. No fear whatsoever. Does pull back finally. Does respect the Lings. There we go. First BC's on the way. Now, it is very common to go BC into mech, so I'm not ruling mech out yet from Kelazhur. But it is not there we go. We have an armory. Armory's on the way. Interesting. So it's going to be BC into a Hellbat push. Meanwhile, we do have our Roach Warren thrown down by Cham, thankfully. We spoke about it earlier, but Cham is quite fond of Roach play in ZVT, and Roaches are going to be ideal against the Hellions, but do we have enough anti-air? Will we be ready for those battle cruisers? There we go, 2 more factories, so Kelazhur is going to be embracing that mech. Getting ready with that Hellbat push. As the army is amassing, and Cham is in the dark. He has spotted the Hellions at least. That is a tell. But I believe Cham hasn't gotten into the main. Cham, I think he's working with 6 queens. He's got 3 queens for injects and 3 marauding queens. Hellions, once again, they go for the dive. They try to catch the queen. They do lock one down. Yeah, the BC does teleport forward. 1 queen falls. We have 5 queens left. And the queens are getting low. And we're getting on top of them. Again, very little support. Roaches are on the way, but they're still morphing in. They're still in production. We bring down another 2 queens. Yeah, the queen count getting lower. There's 1 queen left. Going for the final queen. BC wreaks havoc in the mineral line. Drones are going down. But it looks like with the help of these reinforcements, we can hold on. Yeah, roaches, they pop out just in time. They shut down the Hellbats. And Cham will defend. Does cost him almost every single queen and 5 drones. Reinforcing queens are waddling in, and Kelazhur is going to be forced back. And was that worth it? I mean, what did we get? 7? Oh my god. I thought it was 6. 7 queens went down. A handful of drones. But Cham survives. Cham, he holds, he survives. Spire is on the way. Roaches are building up. Cham is still in this. Meanwhile, Kelazhur has rebuilt those Hellions and moving out for another run by. The roaches will hold the line. Cham does defend. BCs are being topped up. We do have a second army that has been amassing. Unfortunately, Cham can't really move out, because if he did, I mean, he'd just be shut down by the BCs. So he's stuck at home, working towards Corruptors, 1-1 upgrades, stabilizing his economy. Likewise, so is Kelazhur. Economically, I would give the edge to Kelazhur. You can see that the worker count is quite similar, but Kelazhur has mules and is using a mech army as well. Ideally, the Zerg player wants to be ahead in economy here and ahead in bases compared to the Terran. But Cham isn't quite there yet. BCs do move out. And this time too, we get 2 queens. Both queens go down. Do we have enough Corruptors? Only 3. We're just focusing down drones. We just focus down the workers. Going for the economy. 9 worker kills and 2 queens, and Kelazhur doesn't lose anything. The BC survive. As a reminder, I believe there's no Yamato. So Yamatos aren't really a factor here. But now we're working towards tank production, cyclones. We're done with Hellions. And Kelazhur is building up a more robust army. The Hurricane Engines is about to finish. And it does feel like Cham is on the back foot. He's just been 1 step behind. Trying to keep up with Kelazhur. Getting into Swarm Host. That's an interesting choice. Swarm Host can do quite well against a more stationary army, like, you know, Hellion, what's that, BC? Hellion tank. Against tank-heavy compositions in general. Against Battle Mech, this is risky, just because after the Locust Wave, the Hellion Cyclone can chase you down. The BCs as well. So this is a risky maneuver here by Cham, but we'll see if it pays off. As I believe we have made 13 Swarm Hosts. Scan. Oh my, sees everything. Just barely. And massive scout there from Kelazhur. The scan reveals the Swarm Hosts. He is aware sensor towers are on the way. Kelazhur being active with his army. Rotating around. Scan reveals the main army, confirms the positioning of the Swarm Host. The goal here is to force those Locusts to hit the ground. We're going for the tanks! Oh, the Unsiege just in time! Very nicely done by Kelazhur, bleeding out only a single tank. Again, the Unsiege did avoid friendly fire. And Kelazhur, he shuts it down, gets across the map, going for the base. Hatchery getting low, and he's pushing. Like right now, Cham is vulnerable. Half his supply is doing nothing. As he invested quite heavily into those swarm hosts. Locust Wave is about to reset in a couple of seconds. It's ready. Locust Wave is coming in. And we need to make it count. Vials, they connect with some of the Cyclones. Locust, they get on top of the tanks. They get 2, 3, 4 tanks. Oh my god. That was pretty worth it. 4 tanks go down, but now they're exposed. New sniper swarm host. We're just rallying across the map. Kelazhur, he still has enough to shut down the hatchery, and honestly, he could keep pushing. These swarm hosts are so exposed, but he doesn't quite go for it. So Cham will get away with it. We'll be able to get in another Locust Wave, and Kelazhur backs up. He's content just killing a base. And he could have gotten more. Like, so many swarm hosts were stuck there on the low ground. The last Kelazhur was unaware. Rotates around. Locust Wave is coming in. We're going for the tanks. We're going for the tanks. We do force on siege, and how many do we get? Another 3 tanks go down. The Biles as well. Chammy's breaking through. He shuts down every single tank. The tanks fall. Kelazhur, he was caught out. The BCs are still putting in some damage across the map. And that will force Cham back. Cham does have to retreat. But it's so important that Cham is keeping the tank count low as possible. Swarm is getting ready for a surround. Let's go. Locust Wave coming in, but not going to get too much here. Ambitious Locust Wave. By the time it gets to the base, it's going to run out. It's going to be close. We can get some damage. The tanks, once again! Oh, I don't think that was the intention, but we come across 3 tanks. 3 tanks go down. Yeah, somehow, some way, we find damage with the Locusts. Ooh, as we're pushing towards a concave of Cyclones, Roaches are going down, Ravagers are exposed. Cham is overextending. Yeah, big overextension here by Cham. He's going to lose all of his Ravagers. And he will be able to rebuild, but that was a brutal trade. He lost the Ravagers, lost the Roaches, lost the Corruptors, everything. Cham is rebuilding. He does need time. And Cham just getting a little bit too excited there. Kelazhur now going for the counterattack after shutting down the main army. We'll get another base. And Cham just cannot take a 5th. Hatchery's going down at the same time. Swarm host waddling across the map. We have to deny some of these bases. Like Kelazhur, his economy is insane. May have lost tanks, but he's on 6 bases. I'm just letting that sink in as the planetary goes down. But Kelazhur, he was on 6 bases, now getting a 7 compared to the 4 base setup of Cham. BC gets across the map. Okay, 7th base is denied. So it's a 6th. 2 bases go down, and Cham is going for the northern base. The freshest mining base here of Kelazhur. Another base is denied. Cham, what are we going for? We're racing back home. Kelazhur is pushing. Cham, he turns back around. Again, we don't want to waste a Locust Wave. We're getting on top of the Cyclones. Cham, he knocks down the planetary. Very nice pick off. Planetary goes down. We collapse here on top of the tanks. And we're going to clean Kelazhur up. Yeah, we're completely cleaning him up. Kelazhur losing every single tank once again. Does take down the base. Again, we're getting scrappy. Very scrappy here. Between Cham and Kelazhur. Again, Cham still cannot expand. He's still stuck on 4 bases. Kelazhur going for the gold. These swarm hosts, they've done so well for Cham. They've gotten so many tanks over the course of this game. I want to say like 20 tanks. It's crazy. Another tank going down. Locust Wave headed for the CC. It is an orbital, so we can lift the CC, but we won't be able to save the workers. SCVs will fall. In the blink of an eye, 12 workers go down. Meanwhile, that's a lot of cyclone. Oh my god. We're going mass cyclone. We're playing like it's the last patch. Mass cyclone. I mean, it can do well here. Yeah, not enough lings. We're getting ourselves the averages once again. Cham caught out on the map. He's going to be cleaned up. And then Kelazhur can counterattack. Cham, he plummets in supply. No shot. Kelazhur, can we pull this off? We're moving out across the map. Cham desperately trying to expand, retaking his fourth. Double expanding even. We see teleports, and the northern base is going to be denied once again for like the fourth time. We do force a cancel. We bait out the Locust Wave. And once this Locust Wave runs out, Kelazhur, he can push in. Oh, let's go, Cham. Up. Go for the Caustic Spray. Locust Wave runs out, and that is so much dead supply. Now is the time for Kelazhur. Send it, Pappy. He scans. Spots the Swarm Host. I'll spot the Swarm Host. I'm gonna focus on saving his gold. This Cham is taking the center base, and we're investing into infestors. Okay. We have fungal growths. That will help against the mass cyclone. Swarm Host moving out, they get spotted. Force out some Locust Waves. Likewise, another group of Locusts headed towards the CC. We do shut it down. We're in position, we're ready for it. Kelazhur kiting back. Shouldn't lose any cyclones there. Same time he does push. First fungal does connect. So does the second. Fungals are okay, but the tanks here, they shut down the base. That's all we care about. Cham is being starved out. Just Cham can never expand. Ay, ay, ay. And Kelazhur is back up to 6 bases, back up to 7 bases. On 7 CCs, like Kelazhur is just outscaling Cham. Unless we do something about that, we need to move out. Storm Hosts are spotted. Tanks are in position. We can go for the tank. Here comes the surround! Yeah, there's no way out for the Storm Host. There's no Nidus Swarm, there's no nothing. They desperately try to escape. At the same time, Cham pushing towards the southern bases. Likewise, Kelazhur going for his own counterattack. A pseudo base trade. And Cham is going for the gold. Storm Hosts do get away, but at the same time, Kelazhur, he may as well go for the kill. Knocking down the third, and from here he can keep pushing. We just go straight to the main. Cham racing back home. We didn't get the gold. The gold base stands strong. And Kelazhur, no reason to turn around. He does commit. Cham racing back with the tanks. They siege up. And how do we engage? How do we push into this without Swarm Hosts? Locust Wave gets spent across the map. Not at home to defend. We're going for the planetary. And we might be able to get it. Oh, we barely don't. Yeah, the planetary survives, and it looks like Kelazhur, this position is just brutal. I don't see how we break out without the help of the Swarm Hosts. Natural base is falling, the tech as well. The Swarm Hosts, they get caught out! The VC! The VC does find them. Oof. And Chammy's in trouble. It's been a very chaotic back and forth game. But here comes the Locust Wave towards the tanks. This can help shut them down. Yeah, here comes the surround. Yeah, the Roach Ravager and the Locusts. And together we should clean this up. We shut down the tanks, we shut down the cyclones. But Kelazhur still has an army. Does have reinforcements. The Ravagers. And yeah, we start a step forward. We focus on as many Ravagers as we can. Expensive losses here for Cham. You can see him plummet in supply. Yeah, this is not a fight that he could take. Cham getting forced back. BC from behind. And even with the Locust Wave, he's just going to buy some time, but it's not enough. Locust Wave catching Hellions. It's been a pretty intense game, and and Cham, he's been fighting for a fifth, and finally he expands. Finally he takes a fifth base, but now it doesn't matter. Now, like, he's just too far behind. GG gets called, and Kelazhur takes game number 1. Whew. Oh my god. GG, well played. That was not an easy game though. That was very back and forth. There was in that game. Like, they got so much value over the course of game 1. But here we go in the top right hand corner. We have Kelazhur for Platinum R8. And in the bottom left, we have Cham for Starlight Twinkle. Let's go. We go. We're getting into potentially the final game of the series. Kelazhur needs one more win here to take it all for his team. Cham needs to fight back here and now to force the ace match. The pressure is on. For now, somewhat standard openers for the time being. I mean, it is post-youth. We do have a pocket gold base or a pocket hybrid base to take advantage of. I'm curious if Cham is going to make use of this and maybe even rush into the gold as a third. So there's also a gold base. Like, this map is crazy. It is one of the most vetoed maps in the map pool. One of. There's a lot of typically vetoed maps. Whether it's post-youth, whether it's Amphion, Dynasty, of course. Not the most standard of maps. Which is, you know, a good and bad thing, right? Like, would you like to spice things up in the meta? And maps do impact the overall meta here. We are going to be setting up. And I'm curious if Kelazhur embraces mech again, right? Like, I spoke in the lead up to this series, I spoke about how Kelazhur likes being active and aggressive with bio. And he did just mix things up and go into mech instead from a BC opener. But Kelazhur, he can flex his marine micro and his stim and his overall aggressive nature in a different way as well. We'll see if he does. If we just make it up back. But now Cham does confirm the CC timing was a Rax expand, not a CC first. Any chatters believe in a tie? After game 1, you have to believe in a tie, right? No shot. You have to believe that it's possible for a tie. As I do see Kelazhur going for a third CC before Starport. Okay. Here we go. Very economic build here by Kelazhur. Getting to his third. Likewise, so is Cham. In the map, I don't think this will be a draw. True, true. Do we get a game 3 between these two? Do we get a tie? That would be crazy. It's been a while. Been a while since I can remember, since the last tie. One happened recently. It was in a big event as well, wasn't it? Was it in Home Story Cup? There was a tie that I didn't get to cast, but I heard about it. That was happening elsewhere in the bracket. Oh god, I remember people talking about it. It wasn't Home Story Cup, was it in the SC2 safe house? It was like relatively recently. regardless. Hellion's moving out. Hellion's once again going for the dive into the mineral lines. 2 drones fall. We saw something quite similar here from Kelazhur in game 1. Just the non-stop Hellion dives. He has no fear. No respect. Just jump in, Pat. And let's go. It's not going to be mech. This time it's going to be bio. Stim is on the way. Ah. He's going to make Marines. Meanwhile, that is... Okay, we're going for a faster lair. It's going to be a 4-minute 30 lair timing here from Cham. Overlord comes in from behind. Will confirm the second racks. And the third racks. As well as Stim researching. And all things bio. At the same time, Hellies, they dive into the third. Once again, Lings are not quite in position. Yeah, Lings are racing back home. 3 drones go down. So far, good damage. You get 5 worker kills. And we're still not done. Oh my god, the Hellion volleys. The Hellion volleys are brutal. 5 worker kills. Liberator towards the natural. Spore has to reposition. We get a sick drone. Just barely. And Cham is heavily droning up. And I'm curious. We're taking gases. Do we throw down a Spire? We do! We're going into Mutas! I was only curious because I didn't see any Evo Chambers. I didn't see a Baneling Nest. I didn't see a Roach Warren. I was like, what are we doing with our gas right now? It's for the Mutas, man. The Mutas. Let's go. So, bold move by Cham. Very bold. It is quite risky to rush into Mutas like this. So far, unscattered. Oh, Overlord does go down. There's a lot of potential with Muta play, that is true. But not easy to get away with. Especially against a Bio-Terran player. If your Mutas don't get enough damage done, if they get scouted, then Kelazhur can just move out and roll you over. Can turn the aggression up. The reason for this, the downside of rushing into Mutas, is that you forego Baneling speed. Like, Baneling speed is delayed, your 1-1 melee upgrades are delayed, like your Carapace and your melee for your Ling Bane. So your ground army is just worse. Your ground army is just going to be inferior for quite some time, as you're spending all your gas on Mutas. So you are quite vulnerable. Here now we do have our Baneling Nest on the way. We should be prioritizing Baneling speed first, then getting into 1-1 upgrades. And 9 Mutas in production. So far, the Spire has been unscouted. And we can move out across the map. 10 Mutas on the way. That is more than enough to one-shot workers. But Kelazhur is pushing. Okay, this is going to be a tight hold. Technically, we have enough links to defend. We have queens as well. But the Marines, they dive into the mineral line. 4 drones go down. Meanwhile, the Mutas, they're going for the Metamax. They boost away. We can't commit, but we have reinforcements behind this. And this is not the fight to take. We shut down the Lings. We shut down the Mutas. 1 Muta goes down. And Cham is in a bit of trouble. He bled out so many Lings. And if this army moves out, Cham has very little to defend. Bleeding out another Muta. So far, no economic damage. Cham has to do everything he can to just keep the army pinned back home. Massing up more Ling Bane. As we're pointing out, no upgrades. I mean, we shouldn't have any upgrades here for Cham just because of the Mutas. And here comes Kelazhur, this time with tanks. He shuts down the Queens. The Queens fall. Cham, he gives up on the base. He knows he cannot save it. The hatchery is going to go down. And he's going for a risky maneuver here, sending everything across the map. But we do have reinforcements. We can get us around though. Yeah, we collapse on the reinforcements. We shut down the Marines and the tanks. Cham, he will trade quite well here. Getting on top of the production, but Kelazhur, he's racing back home. Turret does full. SCVs are going down. Not bad. 8 workers, 10 workers even. And Kelazhur does turn around. So not a bad counterattack here by Cham. Getting 11 SCVs. A tank and reinforcements. Mutas come back in. 14 workers going for the medevacs. Cashing the production, getting more SCVs here at the third. And we don't lose any mutas. 17 SCVs in total. At the same time, Kelazhur, he's had enough. He's moving out across the map. Cham is collapsing in, but do we have enough Banelings? Do we have enough Banelings? We have 2 left. Not enough. The tanks go down, but what about the Marines? As we have a handful of reinforcing Banelings. And we're barely holding on. Whew. Again, if those Marines had gone across the map any sooner, I mean, it could have been game then and there, and it still might be. We desperately need Banelings. As many as we can muster. But Kelazhur, he splits. We get some okay Baneling connections, but we need more. Desperately need more. As Cham backs up. Reinforcing Banelings on the way. Kelazhur so committed, refusing to back up. Making 12 Marines at a time. The muta count is quite high. We have a decent muta count, and there's only 1 tank in the back line. We can collapse on this. And we can focus down the tank. Nice around here on the Marines. And Cham, he fights back. He forces this all the way back, and we'll clean up the army. We'll shut down all the Marines and the mutas. We have a high enough muta count. Let's go. Send it, papi. Oh, Cham barely doesn't have enough to catch the reinforcements. He has to pull back. Going for the tank. He will catch it. Nice moment there for Cham. Ooh, is overextending though. This is not the best trade. Yeah, Cham has to calm down. He took some good fights, but still has to respect the bio army of Kelazhur. Cham does retreat. He has 1-1, now starting on 2-2. Gold base got back up, but Alas is going to be knocked down. There's no saving the gold. You can see Cham still being active, still trying to catch out that bio army. May have lost the gold, thankfully has a backup base to make use of. Cham pulling back. 3-3s on the horizon for Kelazhur. That's going to be another big power spike for the Terran. We catch the mutas! No! Oh my god, massive pickups! Cham, not like this. Kelazhur does catch what was that, 3-4 mutas. Could have been worse, but again, an expensive loss, and Cham doesn't have the best economy to sustain those losses. Kelazhur moving out. We do have a good amount of Ling Bane though. Cham has a standing army, going for a counterattack. Has to race back home. Kelazhur is moving forward. 2 tanks in the back line. That muta count was thinned out. And we do collapse in. We push on forward. The Banelings, they make their way into the Marines. Stole a tank firing. And it looks like Kelazhur, he's barely going to be cleaned up once again. It's close. We still have Marines. We have too many Marines. Reinforcements have arrived. Widow mines as well. Cham, he almost bounced back in this game. It was so close. But I did feel like Cham overextended one too many times earlier. Bled out a lot of his mutas. Bled out too many mutas. And the rally from Kelazhur is just not stopping. He's got a 4th base. He can sustain himself. Cham needs time, and Kelazhur just refuses to give him any time whatsoever. Just clearing up so much creep, rotating over towards the gold. Cham has been trying to mine from the gold base for so long. Can't get it. But because of this rotation, Cham has time to rebuild. Oh, as he's going to bleed out a mineral line. It's 10 drones falling and the base. Mutas get across the map. We have turrets in position. We're ready for them. And we're hoping to catch the army. And we will. This time no tanks or widow mines. The Lings, they come in first round, and the Banelings, they crash on forward. Massive connections. The mine shots. Oh my god. Oh, brutal mine connections. The Lane Bane army melts. The mutants melt. GG gets called. And Kelazhur. Oh my god. Calm down. Kelazhur does take the series to... Oh, he hurt his hand, Papi. Oh, do you have something for us? Up! Up! Ah. It's so hot. GG. It was so intense, Papi. Ah. You earned it. Feels good, man. GG, well played. Kelazhur does take the 2-0. I've heard that it is hot in other parts of the world. Fun fact, it is freezing here in Australia. It is so cold. It's winter here down under. That's why it's a rare situation where I'm wearing a robe on top of my shirt. I'm wearing... It's freezing here, but I know it's hot elsewhere. GG, well played. Kelazhur does take the 2-0. And with that, Platinum R8 will take the series. But that was a very, very intense series between Kelazhur and Cham. I mean, that's why Kelazhur had to cool off, Papi. He was hot. Things were getting hot and heavy, but did take it in the end. GG, congratulations to Diego. My condolences to Cham. But I hope Cham doesn't feel too bad about that series because, again, it was a close one. It was a close series in the end. Both Game 1 and Game 2, Cham had moments. He had opportunities. He definitely could have... There's a world out there. There's a world out there where he could have taken it himself. Alas, Kelazhur did come out on top. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to Kelazhur, to Platinum R8, and of course to the rest of the team, to Goblin and ShaDoWn. GG, well played. With that, we're done. We're wrapping up here for the night. As a reminder, World Team League was a day early this week. Usually it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This week it is Thursday, Friday, and Sunday instead. We're skipping Saturday. I don't know what's happening on Saturday, but we're skipping it. So, yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be back tomorrow in less than 24 hours with day number 2 of World Team League. WTL will continue. Quickly double checking, tomorrow's matches are going to be Basilisk versus Team Liquid. Ooh, some spicy matches. Let's go. Cure versus Cyril, Clem versus Raynor, Skillus versus Showtime. Mate, we got a banger of a series tomorrow with Basilisk versus Team Liquid. We also have Twisted Fairy versus Psystorm Na'Vi. Another close match as well. It's going to be a team of Protosses against Max, Geralt, and Spirit. It's going to be a great time, I imagine. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2 of World Team League. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be beautiful. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I hope you all had a great time. What's cold in Australia? So cold in Australia is a little bit different. So it's been like 4 degrees, like 4 degrees Celsius sort of thing, which is quite cold. It's not freezing, but it's cold. The other problem with cold weather in Australia is that we don't really have much insulation. We have very little insulation in our houses, just because otherwise we would just our houses will turn into ovens in the summer. So our housing is more designed to deal with like hot weather, less so cold weather. So yeah, it's like temperature outside and temperature inside the house is like the same. So like you don't get as much protection from the cold. So that's the thing with Australian households, as you can imagine. Yeah, Aussies have no heating. Yeah. So it's a little bit different, But otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you all had a great time. Hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Otherwise, we'll see you guys on Sunday for more WTL. We have Master Swan open on Saturday. Plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft on the horizon. Thank you for watching. If you want to support us, follow us on all the social medias. We have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. ! Socials in the chat. And you'll get a link to all of our social medias. Likewise, we're also live on YouTube. So if you want to follow us, if you want to watch VODs, YouTube is the place to be. ! YouTube in the chat. As we also stream to both YouTube and Twitch at the same time. And also, to wrap things up as well, you can help us and support us on Patreon if you wish. Our Patreon is set up to fund our tournaments and to host our tournaments on a weekly basis. You can help us grow the events, boost the prize pool, and help support more players. If you're interested in that sort of thing. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you for just merely watching the CranKy Ducklings, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, hasta luego. Ciao, papi, ciao. Hasta luego.